Hello everyone, it's Laurie from Cook Scrap Craft. Welcome to today's process video. It's for off the board with pineapple papers, and instead of doing like a scrap lift or a sketch like I usually do from my Pinterest boards, as you can see, I'm doing a challenge this month from Lasting Memories. They have a shape challenge, and so the challenge for the week of March 17th was to use 4 different hexagons and some stenciling on the background. So I actually have a board on my Pinterest called Scrapbook Challenges, and I recently had to go through and kind of edit things because a lot of the challenge blogs that I used to play along with they're not doing it anymore. The blogs don't even exist anymore. So I went through and I'm like, let's see who's still doing challenges. And Lasting Memories is still doing challenges, so I'll have them linked below. And it's kind of fun. I used to play along with them quite often. I think I was a guest design team member a couple times. And I just haven't really been doing challenges lately, although I really do enjoy them. And so I decided that for this month's Off the Board, I was going to go to that scrapbook challenge Pinterest board and do one of the challenges. So here I am. Again, this is a Lasting Memories challenge number 693. The challenge is to use 4 different hexagons and stenciling on the background. So I had some photos from our trip to the Georgia Aquarium. These are all photos that have people in them, so either my daughter or my daughter and my husband. I don't think I'm in any of them, but I separated those from a previous process video that I did where it was just all of the animal photos. So no people, just the animals. And so this is going to be the another layout for that, Georgia Aquarium series. Because I have so many photos, I think I have 10, I am making this a 2-pager, and it's going to be easy to do the background because I have a bunch of colored cardstock. So I chose this sort of light blue color. I'm taking the Squeezed Lemonade Distress Oxide Spray from Tim Holtz, and I'm spraying it through a triangle-shaped stencil, which actually, if you look closely at some of the triangles, if you kind of put them together, 3 triangles on top, 3 triangles on bottom, there's also a bit of a hexagon shape going on in the stencil. So I thought that was kind of cool as well. But I went with the triangles just because I wanted to do shapes. And I thought, well, I've got hexagons, I'll do some triangles, and I think eventually, I think all my photos, I actually cut some of my photos into hexagons too. But then mostly the rest of the photos are like cut down to 3.5 by 5 or 3 by 4, so they're rectangular photos. So yeah, I just did a little bit of spraying with the stencil. I just wanted a little bit of it to show up and kind of go behind where I'm going to be putting all the hexagons. I didn't actually have a lot of hexagons punched out already. I have a lot of squares and circles, but I didn't have any hexagons. So I have this bag of scraps, essentially. And I just went through and I tried to find pieces that would go with the colors that I picked out there. So there's a star border strip that's from a Chamel pattern paper. The sort of white shiplap is from, I think, a crepe paper collection. And then the fish, I don't know who makes the fish. That could be like K & Company. I've had that in my stash for a super long time. But I wanted to, kind of find things that were similar colors. So there's some pinks and some greens, some other things like some blues. I just kind of went through all that scrap paper and punched a bunch of hexagons, and now I'm trying to like piece it all together. I don't want the whole page to be covered in hexagons. I kind of want it to be a little haphazard. I want there to be places where there are holes, places where you can see the hexagons are going to be extending onto the opposite page. So this is probably the hardest part, just figuring out where I want the hexagons to go. And then off camera, I adhered them all just with double-sided adhesive tape. Now, the next part that was really hard was just figuring out what to do with the photos. And I did have to take an overnight break from this so I could kind of think it out. I actually sketched out something and I forgot to bring the sketch downstairs while I was working on this, but I had it in my mind of kind of what I wanted to do. And it didn't turn out exactly the way my sketch looked, but I do find it helpful to kind of jot down some ideas before I sit down, especially when I'm sitting down and I'm creating the layout from scratch. Like I said, this was not based on a sketch. It was not based on a scrap lift. I was just challenged to use these shapes, and I had to figure out how to put them all together using the scrap items that I had, using only items in my stash. So I cut a 4x6 horizontal photo of the outside of the aquarium down to 3.5 by 5, and I matted it onto a 4x6 piece of yellow cardstock. So now I'm looking at some of these photos, and I'm like, there's the person in the photo is small enough that they could definitely be cropped down, and I'm trying to figure out, do I cut them into a hexagon by hand, or do I use my punch? Because my hexagon punch is small and I don't have one that's bigger. So I decide, you know what, I'm going to cut them. I'm going to punch them with the hexagon punch, but I'm going to say, if you do punch it with the punch, make sure that you are punching in the right direction so that your photo doesn't end up like going on the side. Just keep that in mind, because the second side of this layout, I kind of messed up punching out the hexagon photos, but it's all fine. I just thought that would be easier than trying to freehand a hexagon. I have done a freehand hexagon before, but it's not easy. I don't enjoy it, and I really should invest in, I'm sure somebody makes like hexagon nesting dies, right? That would be so much easier. So this photo over here, I'm trying to move around. I cut that down to 3 by 4. That's a photo of my daughter with this giant penguin statue outside of the aquarium. And then I've got another photo of my daughter. There's this big, giant, like viewing area inside where you can just sit in the dark and watch fish swim around. And so I'm cutting that one down. All the photos on this side of the page are going to be horizontal. So I think I cut that one down to maybe 3 by 4. Or maybe that's also 3.5 by 5, because there was a lot going on in that photo. I didn't really want to cut it down too much, because I wanted to keep the effect of seeing all the fish and then my daughter's silhouette against the glass. And I'm matting that on just some leftover pink. I think that's a pattern paper. I have pink cardstock that I also use for this too. But now I can't really see. The image on my phone is really small. And I can't remember, even though I just did this yesterday. So those are the rest of the photos. So I'm looking for something else that I can keep on a horizontal. And so even though this photo that I'm cutting here was originally vertical, I'm just going to make it 3 by 4 horizontal and just cut like right the part that I need. So it's my daughter, and we're kind of looking up. There's this overhead thing where you are going underneath it on a people mover, basically a flat escalator. And the fish are swimming above you, which is pretty cool. So I wanted to make sure that I kept my daughter's head in the picture so that we could see that we're kind of coming and looking up and these things are going over us. But I did have to cut the photo down in order for it to fit on this page. So this side of the page has 3 photos that are rectangular, and then 2 photos that I cut down into hexagon sizes. And so those hexagon photos are just going to be part of the general mix of hexagons. And I actually am also going to pop those up right there on some foam tape, just because I want to give it some extra dimension and make them stand out a little bit more from the regular flat hexagons. I'm also adding just like the minimal amount of embellishments on this, because with the hexagons, there's a lot going on and there are a lot of photos on this layout. So I'm just taking a couple little circle stickers from a Simple Stories collection and adding in like enamel dots from my stash. And that Pink Fresh sticker thing has it had a plus sign, and like they have some hearts. So I'm just, again, going through my stash, just looking for really general things. I love having enamel dots on hand because they can be used for so many different things. You can really mix them and match them with different collections and pattern papers that you have. And then I was thinking about doing the title now, but I didn't have a good title in my mind. And so I thought, just to save time, I was going to move on to the second side so that I could go ahead and get that mixed media done on that side and kind of let that dry. My trick, if you don't know what your title to be, Google it. Okay. So what I did is I Googled scrapbook titles aquarium. And there was a web page that came up and had some really great ideas. And so I used one of those to create the title, which you'll see in a little bit. So what I did in order to get these hexagon leftovers onto the second side in just the right spot is I basically stuck the side that was sticking off. I stuck it onto the new side so that it was adhered. And then I just went down the center and cut. if that makes sense. I know you just watched me do it, but I just thought that was a little bit easier than cutting the excess off and then trying to line things up. Basically, they're already lined up because I just stuck it onto the other side and then I just cut down the middle to separate them. And then I just wanted to make sure that I had equal spacing on the left hand, or on the right hand side is on the left hand side. So that's why I was kind of trying to measure up the branding strips. And I'm using another Chamel Main Character Energy branding strip there. It says Joyful. It actually doesn't go all the way down to the bottom of the page. It's a little shorter than 12 inches, so I'm not sure what happened with that, but I'm not going to worry about it. And before I adhere the other two paper strips, again, the shiplap and the fish paper, I am going to spray some more of that squeezed lemonade, which I love. It's one of my favorite colors. And doesn't it just show up so nicely with the light blue color? I think it does. It shows up so nicely on everything, which is really surprising because it's a yellow, and you would think that maybe the yellow wouldn't be super bright on certain colors, but it totally is, and I am here for it. So basically, I'm now going back to the first page so I can do the title. I'm titling this Fishtails, and I'm using the same alpha stickers that I used on a previous layout that you saw in a process video this month, basically because they were already on my desk and I had the right letters to make the title. So it's Fishtails using American Crafts wood grain thickers, and then the tails part is some Pink Fresh puffy alpha stickers that I've had for a while. I love using up the thickers, don't you? It just makes me, or alpha stickers. It just is like, yes. And then now I'm back on the next page trying to figure out how to do the photos. As you can see, I took 2 photos up on top. They were originally vertical and I cut them down to 3x4 from their 4x6 original thing. And then I've got a photo in the center that is horizontal. I cut that down to 3x4 as well. And I'm doing the same with this photo, cutting it down to 3x4 and matting all of them onto different colored cardstock. So I've got 2 that are on a solid pink cardstock. I've got one that's on more sort of like a pattern pink. And then the last one down at the bottom, I'm going to add onto a piece of yellow cardstock, kind of mimicking the colors that I used to mat on the right-hand side. Or the left-hand side, sorry, this is the right-hand side. Whoa. I still have to figure out where all the hexagons are going to go and what other photo I'm going to use. What other photos I'm going to use. This side is also where the journaling is going to be because I found a blue journaling spot that I'm going to cut. I cut into a hexagon. You can actually see it peeking out on the left-hand side there. I'm kind of trying to separate it so that I know that I'm keeping it as the journaling spot. So that's going to go in with all the different hexagons as well as the photos that I cut down into hexagons. If you don't know, before we go any further, what Off the Board with Pineapple Papers is, it's a monthly hop where a group of scrapbookers takes inspiration from their Pinterest boards. Everybody's doing something different this month, so definitely follow down below to hop along and see everybody who's participating and see what their inspiration is and what they did. And if you are also going to be taking inspiration from your Pinterest board and sharing it on social media, be sure to use the hashtag OTBWPP, which stands for Off the Board with Pineapple Papers. And feel free to tag me as well so that I can definitely see it. I'm at CookScrapCraft pretty much everywhere. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. So I would love to see what you do and how you've been inspired by something that you pinned on Pinterest, because we pin a lot of stuff and sometimes we don't always go back and actually do it. So this is a great reminder to get it done, right? Go to Pinterest and don't just pin, actually do something. Now, I really wish that Pinterest had something where you could check off that you've done it. I feel like they used to have that, but it's not there anymore. So that's kind of annoying to me because I like to check things off as I complete them and say like, oh, I did this and here's when I did it. And did I like it? And would I go back and do it again? But they don't have that anymore, right? It's not just me. Everybody else doesn't have that. So let me know in the comments below. If you're enjoying this video and you want to see more process videos and more scrapbook stuff, definitely hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up to let me know that you liked it. And down in the comments below, tell me what your favorite shape is to scrapbook or make cards with. Maybe you like hexagons, triangles, circles, squares. What other shapes are there? Stars. I actually almost bought a star nesting die set from scrapbook.com, but then I didn't. It's still on my wish list. Eventually I will get it, but I think that would be really, really great. Oh, or hearts. My daughter's making the shape of a heart. I don't have any heart die cuts or punch. I have a small heart punch, but I don't. I used to have these Creative Memories clear stencils that you would trace on top of a photo and then hand cut out. Let me know in the comments if you remember those. That's from the 90s, and I think I still have them somewhere in my scrap room, to be quite honest with you. I haven't used them in a while, but so now I've got the hexagons and the photos all done. The photos are also popped up on foam dots on this side as well. To mimic the embellishments on the other side, I'm doing the same thing with the Simple Stories circle stickers, enamel dots, and other small little either puffy stickers or flat stickers that I can find from my scrap stash. This month was kind of a no-spend month, which is why you didn't have a haul video. And I also apologize that I don't think I did a layout share video. I have a feeling that I filmed it and I might have deleted it by accident. So stay tuned for a haul video for next month because I did make a purchase. Mama needs some new scrapbooking stuff. And then there will be a layout share. I will remember to do it and I will remember to post it before I delete it all. So that's another reason, 2 reasons why you want to subscribe for the month of April. So this is almost pretty much done. You can see I did the journaling already and popped that into the hexagon thing that's kind of going on over there. Yes, my daughter is looking at the triangle stencil. She's here. Would you like to say something real quick?
Hi, everybody. Subscribe.
Oh, thank you. And these are the close-ups. You can see things in a little more detail. I hope that this video was inspiring for you and that you get inspiration from your Pinterest board as well as from everyone who's playing along today. Thanks so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys next time. Oh, and this is my 400th video. Can you believe it? That's crazy. Okay, bye.